Hey, Sarah Voronov here, and I'm going to share with you about my Rebirthing Breathwork Mastery trainee practitioner experience. What a mouthful. So today is my session 14, and again, you start off your breathwork session with your intention, the actual breath work, which is a 90-minute cycle, which is a slightly fuller breath than usual in and out through the nose, that you're consciously aware of, and then your debrief where you're sharing what you experienced. And so what I have been noticing in life since my last week's breathe is that I've had lots of intentions around growth and abundance and receiving and all of that. And the next sort of layer that's come up is I've noticed that I want to be seen in life and in business, but it's like I've been feeling uncomfortable in being seen for who I am. And I'm like, I want to feel comfortable. And also there's been a little bit of food body image stuff coming up for myself lately. So this is some of my old stories and talk that I had worked through, but we always have things coming up every now and then, and I'm just noticing it. I'm seeing what's there to teach me. So, and I think it's all tied in with being able to be seen and accepted and all of that. So my intention that I had, which I'll read out for you, which is quite long, was I intend to be so comfortable being seen, to be completely me, sharing my thoughts, wisdom, process, and aha moments, to comfortably receive space being held with me, to comfortably take up space, to be so comfortable in radical receptivity for all the abundance, all the love, all the space that is available to me. And, I was like, okay, what's going to give me? It's going to allow me to be me, to accept all that I am, to have the freedom to create my life and my business in the ways that are supportive for me, have a global impact, be in the right place in the right time, open to receiving miracles, and be able to jump so high and enjoy soaring in the sky, knowing I'll land in the exact space I'm meant to. So like a pretty big intention. And I'm going to be honest, when I was sharing this within my group breathwork space, I was quite activated. I was very emotional talking about all this stuff with being seen, and I think it was tied up with my mum and childhood stuff, as it normally is. So that's what my intention was, and that's where I sat with, and it was so interesting. So I'm referring to, after I have my breathwork sessions, I always write everything down to kind of keep track. But so when I was just sharing my intention in my group, I just felt this intense urge to like keep apologizing. Like, I'm so sorry. I am taking up all the time talking. I'm so sorry. I'm crying so much. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And it was just really intense. And it really reminded me so much of being a kid, and like so much, I wasn't allowed to cry. Like when I cried, it would make my mom angry. And that's, no fault of her own, but it was just all of this under the surface, and it was all coming up. So in my breathe, when I laid down, I had that feeling of like, oh, I'm sorry. And I felt like I was apologizing for myself for existing. And I saw these images. I was brought back to when I was first created in these sort of cells, which I didn't realize until I started journaling and wrote everything out, is that it was connected to my last breathe. I'm not sure if you watched it, but my last breathe, I said, one of my very last images I saw was like me kind of swimming up and getting to almost like an egg yolk or something. I just saw it go pew. And in my mind, the way that I've related it is that ever since I was created, I have been apologizing for my existence. So I don't know you know, my parents had a lot of stuff going on, and anyway, in the way that I was created, I took on this feeling of, I'm sorry that I exist. And then, can you imagine having that energy? Like, I'm so sorry I exist, and then growing inside, the womb, and being like, oh, I'm so sorry I'm taking up space. I'm so sorry I'm growing. I'm so sorry I've taken up so much space in your belly, in your womb. Like, oh my gosh, and now I have to come. I'm so sorry. And like, and this is all unconscious, that I wasn't really aware of that, this apologizing for existing. And so that was such a big release for me that happened quite early on in my breathe, that I was like, oh my gosh, I've just been relating to the world and everything as if I shouldn't be here. Like, I'm so sorry that I exist. And then I was like, okay, well, but I'm here now. I do exist, and I am taking up space. And there's this thing that I learned in kinesiology and also in breathwork. Well, you may have heard of it. It's around self-concept, and it's like who do you think you are versus who you actually are? And so I kind of saw myself going back, and it's like, well, the truth of the matter is, I didn't create myself. Like, my parents came and created me. I did choose to be the energy, the soul that came and inhabited the body. And the truth is that in order to grow into a full human baby, you need to grow, and you need to take up space within the womb, and you need to come out. Like, so that is the truth of it. And so I guess it's like, yeah, we put so much unconscious meaning on stuff, on the sensations and things that happen, when that's not the truth of it. Yeah, so that was like a really big awareness around that. And then, it was like this thing of seeing that we're humans. So we are a spirit energy. If you imagine, we're all connected, we're in this energy field, and it's like we come down, we're like watching, so we're watching above, going, oh, I wonder what it would be like to have feelings and to feel and to all this sort of stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we'll like get that energy, and we'll come inside a human body, almost like you're putting on like a haptic suit, I saw it as. And it was like, oh, this is what feelings are. This is how you navigate stuff. But when we come into the human experience, we forget, and we become unconscious. We're not consciously aware. And it was like, I really just saw that our body is a vessel to hold the soul. Our body is a vessel to hold our energy. And if we want to have the human experience for as long as we can, we have to look after the body that holds the vessel, that holds our energy. Because, when we die, we leave the body, but our spirit is alive. And so this is just, this lifetime, this is just the body that holds our spirit. And so you can choose, how long do I want to be in this human experience for? I probably need to look after this vessel that's holding my soul. So I probably should like move it and eat well, and the frequency and how well you do is entirely up to you. The body itself will always do its best to try and keep you well, and it's your choice. So I really just saw that so clearly in my breathe. And then, I don't know, it was like everyone turned into robots. I was like seeing humans as robots, in the sense that, okay, we're having this human experience with all these feelings, and then it's just like, if you were a robot and you like had all these mechanical bits, and you needed to release some steam, and maybe the steam went psh, and after the steam came out, it helped to recalibrate you, and you're like, oh, that feels better. And then, some steam comes out of here, psh, the steam's out, and then you get recalibrated again. And so that's the same as us as humans. when we cry, when we feel angry, when we feel sad, that's just energy coming out, helping to recalibrate ourselves. And so sometimes, you know, I saw it as like if you were a robot and you were like spraying your steam out at somebody, you're like, oh no, I didn't mean to let it out on you. And then the person realizes, hey, every time I stand here, I get sprayed at. Maybe I'm going to move. Or every time like this music plays, that word said, I feel like I need a spray. And so just being aware of that, and then knowing that other people have the choice. But, you know, as much as you can, you're trying not to let out the steam on other people, but other people have the choice to either be surrounded by it or to protect themselves. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But I just saw it as this whole robot thing, and it also relates to like humans and how we express ourselves. But also in like this robot world I was seeing in my breathe, it was like, we have like, you know, if you had a screw loose or your arm came out and you needed to like, oh, well, you're like, someone offers you some help and you're like, no, I've got it. I'll redo it myself, and you try and fix yourself. But then sometimes, you know, I saw it as a robot, like what if all your like metal pieces, everything came off and you're like laying down on the ground and someone offers you help and you're like, no, it's okay, I'll do it. But you can't, because you both arms are gone, all the metal's off, and it's like, well, you actually need someone to come and help you put the metal pieces on, to screw everything back in. It doesn't mean anything about you. It just means that you needed some help, you needed some support. And I kind of saw that as humans, sometimes we need support, and we need to be able to receive it. It doesn't mean anything about us. It doesn't mean anything about the other person. It's just that we can't do it, especially when we've really fallen apart and we've kind of left it too late. And the same thing, like I saw it as if there was like a screw on the back, like, oh my gosh, there's a screw loose. And maybe you don't even notice, and another person does and say, hey, do you mind if I like tweak that back in? You're like, oh, thanks so much. That feels so much better. And like humans, yeah, other people are going to notice things within you that you aren't aware of, and they're willing to offer you help, and it's up to you whether you want to receive it or if you still want to go around with like loose parts. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense for you guys, but it makes sense for me. And I'm just reading what else came up. Oh yeah, and it was also like, we all have our own broadcast, we all have our own message that we're here to share. And so like, this is me sharing, broadcasting my experience of what is true for me, and maybe it is not true for you. You know, maybe it's like me and my broadcast, I'm like sharing stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm going to receive that, let me try that, let me apply that to my life. Oh yeah, that works. Or you know what, that doesn't work. And it doesn't really matter, because it's like we can all share the truth of what is for ourselves, and other people can receive it, try it on, or they cannot, and go, you know what, that is not my truth, that does not resonate with me. And then there's also like frequency, like we can tune, because we are from the divine, we're all connected in this energetic field, and whether it's God for you or the universe or whatever the wording is, I saw it as, you know, God, spirit, divine energy, it's all within us. We're no longer connected, like, you know, because we're being housed in a physical body, but we're still connected, and we can still receive the message. It's about tuning our frequency to the divine frequency, and then we can share the messages that come through. And sometimes as we're sharing our broadcast, people will receive that and it'll make total sense, be like, yes. And other times people go, oh my gosh, that does not make sense to me, that is complete blah blah blah. And maybe that's because they're on a different software. I saw it in my head like, oh, you haven't updated your software. Or maybe like you receive information like, oh my gosh, I don't understand it because it's a different software updated. So basically the message I received is that not everyone's going to understand you. No Not everyone's going to receive it and make it feel like it makes sense to them. And that's okay. We all have different software and we're all tuned to a different frequency. And those that are on your frequency are going to really understand you clearly and receive it. And the other thing was about when you're comfortable. And so when you're really comfortable in being yourself, the message that you want to share out is going to be received really well because you're comfortable, and so the transmission is clear. When you're uncomfortable, when you're in unsure, it's like static, and it comes through, and it's oh, I don't understand what you're saying. So it's actually the feeling of comfortableness that allows the transmission, the broadcast, to kind of go through easier. And the last thing that kind of came in with my breathe was this abundance. And I saw it like this abundance shop. Like, hey, welcome to the abundance shop. We're open all the time. You can get whatever you need as soon as you take it. It's instantly replenished. It's all free and it's all available. And I saw it like, what if, and then you go into the shop and you're like, oh my gosh, I'll just get like this small little thing, and you're like apologizing for taking it, and the shopkeeper's like, well, okay, sure, if that's what you want, you are welcome to take anything you like. And you're like, oh no, I don't want anyone to miss out. The shopkeeper's like, well, no one misses out here, because as soon as you take something, it gets instantly replaced. And it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll take a few more things. Like, I'll just take the basics. I'll just take, a little bit, what I can scrape by on. Shopkeeper's like, okay, sure. But if you want, you can take anything you like. It's like, oh, okay. Are you anything? Well, maybe I will take a few more things. Well, maybe I will take. But if your frequency, if your broadcast inside is like, oh my gosh, there's not enough, I'm unworthy, I don't know if I can take all of this, then you'll only take a little bit. You'll only take as much as you feel comfortable with. And I really saw that clearly. And then it's like, oh no, okay, I've got all this stuff. Maybe you do feel like, okay, I can get anything I want from the shop. I'm going to stock up and I'm going to run out. And then the guy's like, okay, whatever you want. And you come back the next day and you're like, can I take a few more things? It's like, sure, whatever you want, you can grab. Everything is available. Everything gets instantly replaced. We're open at all times. You can come and go as many times as you want. The frequency doesn't matter. You can go outside of that door, come back in 30 seconds later, 1 minute, 5 hours, the next day. It doesn't matter. And so I saw it as like, okay, once you get into this full ability to feel the peace, to feel the trust and the safety that, okay, abundance is always here. It's always available. It's never going away. You can come inside the abundance shop. You can take your time. You can peruse. You can take exactly what you need each time, go away and come back in and out as many times as you need. It feels so easy. It feels so comfortable because you have the trust and the safety and the peace. And that was such a really big thing, that like this beautiful abundance shop, because it is real. There is abundance available to us at all times. When by taking, we're not making anyone else have any less. It gets instantly replaced. It's just this beautiful flow. But our ability to be able to take from abundance depends on our broadcast, our energetic frequency and our vibration. And so I thought that was really cool. And that's where what happened in my breathe. There was just all of that, so many images, so much feeling. And now I just feel really comfortable. That was my intention in being me, and the availability that's all there. And I'm going to be aware of myself, consciously aware how I move through life and what comes up. I'm excited to see how things shift from there. And thank you for your time for watching this if you have. if you have any questions about breath work, this is RBM, Rebirthing Breathwork. Oh, sorry, RBM, Rebirthing Breathwork Mastery. So sorry, I always forget, but it's RBM. So let me know, and I will see you next week, and I will share what my intention is and how the session has gone. Thanks for listening. Bye.